Welcome back. In today's video I'm going to show you how to fold a paper crane in quite the relaxed way. Now I got two papers because there's two ways of folding it, one that can fly and the other stands. We're going to fold both of them. I'm going to show you both versions and let's get right into it. So I'm going to start with this nice cherry tree looking paper. Now you don't need any fancy paper for this, you just need a square. Like, it just needs to be a square. Okay, and what you want to do first is you take this square and you make a triangle out of it, so it looks like this. One thing you gotta pay attention to during the entire process, your folds have to be quite precise. So like you cannot do something like this, for example. And even this with just a tiny corner is going to be a little tricky, so you really want to be precise. I do recommend that you take a table or another surface because it makes the folding a little easier. So first things first, you want to fold it in half so you get a triangle shape. And then you repeat the process and fold this triangle in half just like this. Again, try to be as precise as possible here. And then you should have this triangle that you could technically flip open again and could technically flip open a second time. But we want to have this triangle. So what you then want to do is a little more tricky. You want to angle it at the 90 degrees like this, and then go into one of the triangles and fold it down so it creates a little smaller sphere. So I'm going to do it so that you can see what it should look like. It's gonna look like this afterwards. And then you want to do this with the other triangle that you still have left as well. So what I like to do is I go back to this side and then I fold it over. So like it was here initially, and then I fold it over to the other side to really strengthen that fold. And that really helps. And then you do the same thing you did on the other side and just press it down into the sphere. Now mine is already not as precise as it should be, but it'll work just barely. So then you have a smaller sphere that is folded multiple times and that you can look into on one side. Now then what you want to do, with the open side to the bottom, so in my case I'm going to take the open end and put it towards me, and then you want to fold the corners like this. Fold it over and have it be like this, so that you have two separate layers here, one with the folded version and then the other side, and the open side is here right now. So like you want to have it sharpen in towards the open side. And you do that, you have a little fold in the middle that helps you really line it up. And you want to do that with both sides first of all. So then it should look like this. Like you had the flipped open version here and then you fold it in, and then you do the same thing on the other side. Just fold it in and fold it in again. And then you have this shape with a bunch of folds. Now you basically want to return back to before you folded these corners. So you want to fold them open again. Fold them open again on the other side. And now this is another tricky part. You take the open end and fold it upwards. So you have sort of like this on the inside then. And essentially you want to flip it over so that it creates a new shape. So you want to flip it over. Again, be quite precise about this. It's kind of tricky. and then you should get this shape. Again, just with basically everything we do for this, we repeat the process on the other side so that we have just one big shape at the end. No, I'm not really being precise. I hope you do a little better than I do. Because precision is really the most important part. And now up until this point where you have both sides folded up like this, everything will be the same for the other crane. We're gonna go through it again, but this is where it differs essentially. So what you want to do then is you want to take this shape and essentially fold over one half to the other side, and then you're gonna realize that one side, in my case it's this one, has now only one layer and the other has 3. Now you want to go to the other side, so remember I folded over this side. You want to go to the other side and take the side that has 3 layers and fold it over in the same fashion, just like this. And now you should have a little gap at the top here. Then you want to take the triangle from the bottom and fold it up, just like so. And as you can see, there's another triangle on the other side. You also fold this one up. And then we're almost done with this one already. So then you want to go essentially between the triangles you just folded up. There's these 2 with the gap in between. You want to pull it out, like just pull. Like don't try to use it like a lever, just pull a little. And then until about here, when you have a small angle down here, then you want to flatten it and finish the fold. And you do the same thing on the other side as well. Create a little angle down here, flatten it and finish the fold. And then we're gonna make the head of the crane. For that, you essentially go, as you can see, there's technically a little gap in between these folds here. You want to go inside, and this is another complex one, and you want to push the top down, and then you can see that you can essentially, along this line, this fold, you can press it in the other way, and that creates this little hat. Then you take down the wings, and you have folded yourself your first origami paper crane. Now this one, as I figured was a good idea with the cherry tree design, this one is the flying one. Now it doesn't always quite work. There might be a few adjustments, and the more precise you are in the folding process, the better it'll work right now. So essentially, for this one, for the flying, it's very important that you don't use the back here like a lever, like you don't pull down here, that doesn't work. You essentially take it at the base and just pull it straight backwards, just a tiny bit. And as you can see, the paper crane is gonna fly. Now that is the first one. I'm gonna put that here. The downside of this one, it can't stand. Like if you put it here, it'll always fall to one wing. That's where the other version comes in. So I'm going to take this paper with a bunch of nice koi fish on there, and as I said earlier, we're going to start exactly the same. So we're going to take half of the paper, making a triangle again, so that we're here. Then you're going to take that triangle again and fold it so that you get a smaller triangle. Just like so. You're going to do the slightly complicated folding with the squares again. So you're going to go into the triangles and fold them down to squares. There's one of them. And then you're gonna go to the other side. You can, of course, fold it over again. I'm realizing how this one is not as clean as it should be. Now it's usually not a problem to go back to the previous step and really strengthen that fold so that you can continue. Because like if you don't do it precise enough, you will come to a point where it's really hard to continue. I was able to just fix it now. So I just went back and made the triangle shape a little better. Okay, then you are here again. Now, if you recall, you fold these into the middle with the open side on the bottom. You do this for all 4 of them. Now for this one, I really hope that I don't mess up. Just before the recording, I tested if I was even still able to do them. And the flying one worked really well, but this one, the standing one, didn't turn out quite as well. So then you return to this shape and you fold them open again on both sides. And then you do it, the fold up, to create the other shape again. So you fold it up. Okay, one side is looking good, the other needs a tiny bit of correction here. Okay, that's looking decent. So that you get this shape, and you want to repeat the process on the other side again, so that you remain with only that shape instead of having the bottom part there. Okay, this is really not as clean as it should be, so I'm going to correct it just a little bit. Okay, this should work better. Now we have the shape on both sides, and now the difference comes in, because now there's an extra folding where you essentially want to take this part and fold it down like this again. Like you want to fold it in the middle. I'm gonna do one side so that you can see what I mean. I'm gonna fold those into the middle so that it looks like this. You have the 2 in the middle here now. They were just like this, now they're here. And you do this again on both sides. So you fold them in, and then your shape should look like this. So a little sharper on the bottom. And then you essentially repeat what we just did for the end for the other one as well. You fold over one side so that you have 1 layer on one side and 3 on the other. And then you take the layer with the 3, flip it around and fold that back to the other side so that you again get this gap up here. Now you're going to realize the wings, which are the parts down here, are a little smaller for this one, but that's perfectly alright. Then you're going to fold this up again, the wings on both sides. So you have folded the wings up, and essentially what you do now is you fold it again. So like you fold this side over on the wing, and then you fold the same way on the other side. Now this is going to be one of your wings, and over here on the other side this is going to be your other wing. And then in the middle you have those really thin parts, and you pull these out and create again a tiny angle here, and then strengthen it with a fold. And you do the same thing on the other side, and then you get this shape. And then we're going to do the same fold that we did for the head last time, where we essentially reverse the upper fold and result in the head. So like you really go to the inside of this fold here, and then you push it open and then you push the top line through and fold the outsides together again. And that's what creates this little head. Now, if you can't do this, it also totally works if you just fold it on one side and just have this. Like this is just folded over to this side. That also totally works. And then you can again pull out the wings. Now you're gonna realize that the main part of this one is a little bigger than the other one. So you're gonna want to correct it a little bit here. And if you did it correctly, it should be able to stand just like this. Now I hope this video helped you relax a little bit and helped you learn both versions of the paper crane. I personally really like folding them. Initially my grandma showed it to me. I haven't done it in a while, but it's definitely always relaxing, and Japanese mythology says that if you fold 1,000 of them, you have a wish and that wish will come true.